Hey everyone, it's Mr. Wild194. I hope you're doing well today. I recently reviewed, about in the last week or two, a book volume 1 of a manga that I really loved. It's one of my favorite books I've read so far this year. I've borrowed volume 2 and volume 3 from the library. This one is volume 2, written by Q Hayashida. It is Die Dark volume 2. Now, of course, this is a manga, comic, whatever you want to call it. And it's about 200 pages, just like the previous volume was. I loved volume 1 once again. I thought it was amazing. And volume 2, very much like volume 1, does not have much of a plot. It's kind of an anthology of a few different short stories, kind of one in the past, maybe two in the past, for all I know at this current point in the storytelling by the end of the book. But most of it is just kind of our main characters walking around doing some random shit. That was really prevalent in the first book. This book feels like it has some moments where it's setting up some stuff for the future, maybe in volume 3, maybe beyond. There's only about 6 or 7 volumes of this in the US right now. But I will tell you, this is one of the best ongoing, currently short series, shorter on the side of, again, like 6 books, series that I've read in a long time. A long time. It is still that sci-fi horror, a little bit of fantasy mixed in there too, and I love every minute of it. Basically, this time around in Die Dark, I never thought I'd be sold on this story idea. Basically, Zaha Senko, our main character, and his backpack skeleton robot buddy, Avakian, they and Moha, the little AI robot that's part of their spaceship, that they introduced Moha at the end of the previous book, they need to go looking for some furniture because basically Zaha and Avakian are sleeping on the floor because they have no furniture inside of their spaceship. Never thought about that, about spaceships needing furniture. I guess Star Trek always had that, and maybe kind of Star Wars. Star Wars had a space chess game in it, so why not? And one of those restaurant booths you sit in that were around that space chess game. So who am I? Maybe I just don't think about details like that in sci-fi. But anyway, Moha takes them to this place. It's called Marutech. Apparently it's a kind of a spaceship that floats around in space, and if you try to rob it or attack it, it just blows itself up and kills you. They go to this place, and they have 12 hours to get in and out, searching around for their stuff that they want to buy. They can buy everything from furniture, decorations, gaming consoles, toiletries, whatever. There's so many great jokes about this place. This is the first half of the book. The first half of this book is our main characters going to a big, basically Walmart or Sam's Club, essentially, wandering around, buying shit, and then having to get out of there before that 12-hour limit heads up. And while they're walking around, they're looking at scenery, like all of the different areas you can go to inside of this spaceship, Sam's Club, whatever, are basically just tunnels that you go through. You have to ride like a big cockroach spider monster to go from place to place inside of there to travel quicker. If you had told me that reading this book, if I was somebody who knew nothing about Die Dark and had not read volume 1, if you told me that I was about to read a book about people who are just going to go shopping for the first half of this book, I would have laughed in your face and probably never read it. It feels like a filler entry to a TV anime, like Dragon Ball Z anime that people bitch about all the time, or like a Naruto filler. It feels like that, but it's so well executed. It was so much fun to read this. It was a blast. And after that first half focused around this shopping thing, we have, again, some of these stories that are kind of background stories about Avakian and Zaha Senko, or some about a character that's supposed to come into the play of the story much later on. Shimida Death, if you love Death quite a bit, the actual character Death from Volume 1, Death is in this book quite a bit. Very, very fun as always. Really like that character. I want to know more about her, him, whatever it's supposed to be. I'm assuming that it's a she, I guess. I don't know. Very weird. The book, of course, is in black and white like usual. Some color pages in here. A bonus story is attached onto the end of the book that was kind of cute, kind of fun. A newer character I can't wait to read more about, depending on how much they're in the book. But this was a blast. To be a book that half of the first, well, I guess the first 100 of the 200 pages of the book, to be about shopping, the other half to really still have that silly, goofy adventure aspect to it, being sci-fi, being a little bit of horror, introducing some new elements that I can't wait to read about. That stuff was so surprisingly good. I really enjoyed this. Die Dark Volume 2 is such a bizarre thing. If I told you some of the things I read about or saw in this book, I don't know what you would think. I don't think you would know where to really start complaining about it. Like I said, the shopping storyline should not be engaging. The characters make that fun. The Q Hayashida's writing, the storytelling through the images that she drew. And yes, Q Hayashida is apparently a woman. I didn't know that, but that is incredible. One of the best workers on sci-fi horror ever. The humor and stuff from Volume 1, if you loved that, it's maintained here too. Some of the jokes still made me laugh out loud. I love this. I love these characters. I love the newcomers like Moha and one of the other characters that are kind of being advertised to be a big thing in this book. Loved it, man. I loved every moment of it. And I'll show you a little sample of the art too, in case you'd like to see some of that without too much being ruined for you. Damn. Look at this stuff, man. Look at the art and the detailing. There's Zaha Sanko, my boy. This was great. The humor is great. The world building is great. All of this is such a blast, man. I had such a good time with this. If I had to recommend Die Dark in general as a series to you, I absolutely would. Whether you like sci-fi, whether you like horror, none of that matters. If you like kind of a fantasy world, this is going to be up your alley, no matter what you like. If you're just there for good characters, you don't care about the genre, you will love Die Dark more than likely. Volume 2 is just as good, if not better, than Volume 1 in some ways. I had a blast. I can't wait to start Volume 3 as soon as I finish up vacuuming around the house. And I'm going to start it today. I can't wait for it. So anyway, if I had to rate it on a 5-star basis, I would easily give Q Hayashida's Die Dark Volume 2 a 5 out of 5 stars. What a hell of a read, man. Such a good time. I wish more books were like this. Manga, comic book, whatever, movies, novels, any of that. I wish more understood to do what Q Hayashida does. She's immensely talented, man. Anyway, have you read it? What do you think about it? What do you think about Die Dark as a series? Do you plan on checking it out based on my recommendations about the series? Again, it's kind of plotless. It feels like it's getting there. It's taking its time with filler stories and short stories. But this is perfect. This is really, really perfect for what it needed to do and how appealing it can be, whether it be in the art, the writing, all of that. It's just phenomenal for all of that, right? Anyway, it feels very pulpy sometimes too, and I really love that about it as a texture because I'm a pulp fan, you know? Anyway, what did you think? Put your thoughts and comments down below. Check it out, man. It's a really good series so far. Thank you all for watching, guys. God bless you all. Goodbye.